Thank you, Lascan Corla, Minister. I'm very happy to support this motion from Sinn Féin. It forensically looks at some of the major gaps in our system of supports for people with disabilities, and it asks some of the hard questions. But in many ways, the context is set by the failure to publish the Capacity Review Action Plan. Already this plan is badly delayed. Now, I listened to some of this debate in my office and I didn't hear, Minister, did you give a commitment, a time commitment as to when this review will be published? Perhaps, if not, Minister O'Gorman might be able to say something about it afterwards. And many people might say, well, what good is a plan? We need action now. And in a way, both of those statements are right. We do need action now, but that action must be underpinned by, informed by, directed by the recommendations in the Capacity Review Action Plan. As Inclusion Ireland said in their pre-budget submission, there needs to be a proper plan in place for disabled people's lives. It said only that, or only then, can we move from crisis to confidence. Now, Minister, you spoke about the largest budgetary spend ever on disability, and I have no doubt you and your colleagues played a significant role in ensuring that budget. But surely, any level of spending must be placed within a framework of action. Now, I know your real commitment to your work, and crucially I know that individual needs and individual stories matter to you, and in my view, empathy matters greatly in your work. But the figures don't lie. With over 17,000 children waiting for initial contact with the Children's Disability Network teams. And I suppose my question is, how are you going to bring those numbers down when there is a 28% employment vacancy rate in the network? I want to ask you, Minister, where is the workforce planning right now? Is there a high-level cross-departmental group addressing this issue? Are the colleges, the technological universities on board? As we speak, can anybody tell me if the intake of speech and language therapists has significantly increased this year? If there's 20% more health and social care professionals in our education system? Are the number of OTs in training increased significantly? Unless this is happening now, Minister, those numbers of 17,000 children will not fall, certainly not at the pace that's needed. And I'm also asking you, what measures are being taken to retain staff or to attract staff from elsewhere? Are there specific programmes underway now to do this? Because if there aren't, this time next year, there'll be another debate and we'll be trotting out the same or similar figures. I know you inherited an extremely difficult situation, but none of us want to be here again next year or the year after. And unless we know that these plans are now in place, then we know that that's where we'll find ourselves. Finally, Minister, when I spoke earlier about the rights-based approach, and in that context I want to ask you about the provision of personal assistance packages so that people with a disability can live independent lives. We know that that's not possible for most people who have a disability unless they have personal assistance. It gives them a bit of choice, a bit of dignity about how they live their lives, where they live their lives, whether or not they can go to work or to social occasions. That's the only way to ensure an inclusive and accessible way of living for people with disabilities. But that has to be supported financially. And the numbers, I may be wrong, but I think there are around 17,000 that need personal assistance right now. Whatever the number is, Minister, can you tell me that that number will be decreased significantly at the end of this year? And finally, I want to re-echo the words of my colleague Deputy Connolly when I ask for the ratification of the optional protocol on the UNCRPD. Minister, how soon can we expect it? You know and I know that this underpins what's in the UNCRPD. This gives confidence to people with disability. This says to people with disability that we are taking responsibility, and you can vindicate your rights. And we all know that that matters, Minister. That really matters.